part-time seller on apps like Poshmark, eBay, and Depop. Here is my weekly what sold video, but before I get to what sold, I'm going to briefly talk about what I skip over very quickly in all of these videos, the fact that I am a part-time seller. I decided I wanted to elaborate a little bit on this just to give you guys a better frame of reference for what I'm selling and how you can adequately equate that to your own business. I probably spend 2 to 5 hours a week on my reselling business, so not long at all. I have about 200 items, active listings in my Poshmark closet. Poshmark is my main platform. I'm on eBay and Depop, I'm cross-listing, but I spend most of my time on Poshmark, so that's where most of my sales come from. I spend 2 to 5 hours on my reselling business because I do not have more than 2 to 5 hours per week. It is a hobby for me, and I found out that through this hobby, I can make actually some pretty good money from it. So again, I am just part-time, 2 to 5 hours. I do not want to become anything more than what I already am because I don't have the time for it. I have a full-time job and I absolutely love my full-time job. And I have this overwhelming and daunting fear of, because right now thrifting and reselling is my hobby. It's my time away from my busy life. It's something that is simply mine. And I fear that if I spend more time on it, it becomes more of a job that I will not like it as much. So it sounds kind of weird, but I do not want to grow my business in any way, shape, or form. In fact, that's why I've been so hesitant to cross-list for so long, because I have just about as much as I can handle already. As a part-time seller, I'm usually listing about 2 things a day and relisting 2 things a day. So I have 4 new listings every day, and I usually go sourcing once a week, twice if I'm lucky. Every week, I usually sell between 7 to 10 items, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. And I'm usually making about $150 a week, like take home after any sort of fees and anything like that. So that's a little bit about me and my reselling business. You probably skipped through all of that just to get to the good stuff. Here's the good stuff, here is what sold. I didn't have a ton of sales this past week, but any sale that I did have was pretty solid, like this Bowden dress. I made a pretty good profit on it, and it didn't take too long to sell. This is an example of a great brand, but a not so great pickup. I've had this dress for over a year, and again, retail, super high, very valuable piece. I've sold other pieces very quickly for a lot of money. But this dress sat and sat. It sat for an entire season. We're coming out of the winter season. I mean, this dress just is giving winter vibes, but I just lowered the price and accepted this offer and said, see you later. We're just moving on from this dress. Another pretty solid sale for a pair of shorts. I don't find really any shorts to be very profitable, but anything that sells for $30 or above is definitely worth my time. This type of shirts by Lily Pulitzer are also like a solid pickup for me. They consistently sell right around the 30 degree mark. $30 mark. There we go. I lowered the price of these Paige jeans. I've had them for forever, smaller size. Honestly, a pretty good style, but just kind of wanted them out of my closet. They've been in there for way too long. This was another great sale. This is an example of style over brand. It is a Zara brand. I don't love picking up Zara to resell. I do like it for myself, but like not a very great resale value. But this dress, one, is like a pretty substantial piece. Also, it had very good comps, and it's also very trendy like right now. So it was an easy pickup for me. I'm recording this before I mathed out all of my stats, so I'll put those on the screen, but I know I had 6 sales and 5 of those were on Poshmark and 1 of those were on eBay. Honestly though, can't complain. Even though it wasn't a high amount of sales, I still had a pretty great profit for the week.